everybody. In today's video, I'm going to pretend it's warm outside and we're going to do an oversized lily flower that is very bright, very colorful, very exaggerated and dramatic. I love it. It's so, I don't know, happy looking, you know, not like the dreary weather I've been having lately. So it just makes me smile. I hope it makes you smile too. And don't forget to click subscribe to see all my future videos as well. So here we're going to start with the background of the nail, and I'm going to use a really nice bright green color. I'm kind of going for just super bright color, something just to kind of, I don't know, make you happy in the dreary weather. So we've got this beautiful kind of grassy green with a kind of a golden limey green glitter. Then I'm going to add this secondary color of glitter, which is a darker green, and kind of fade that over it so it goes really dense at the cuticle area and then lighter. And then I'm going to take a brighter green and apply that from the tip going up. So just this multitude of greens, which creates such a lovely, sparkly, bright, happy background. Then a layer of clear acrylic on top to encapsulate the glitter. The first layer of green acrylic was just to kind of create a base. The fact that it also had shimmer made it so that it didn't stick out as, you know, being an inappropriate color. If it does show through, it kind of just gives a beautiful base to everything. I'm going to file that nail into shape, and now on a nail form backing, I'm going to sculpt my first 3 petals. I'm going to do those with white acrylic, and I'm going to place down all 3 beads at the same time so that I can see that they are about the same size, and then press them all out into the shape of a petal, or, you know, like kind of a wide in the middle, pointy on the ends. Fold them partially and then tip the one side or the corners up or back so that you're creating a crescent moon shape. Now, since I did my first one kind of all at one time, I'm going to go back through and do all of them one at one time, or a little bit slower, since I didn't allow myself enough time to get each of them to be manipulated enough so that they could be moved. So create the petal shape, fold it over, and then use the help of a dotting tool and just tip them back so that they get that nice crescent shape. Repeat for the last one. They don't have to be perfect. Remember that whenever you're doing something that is inspired by nature, nature is not perfect, and neither do you need to be perfect. So give yourself just a little bit more space to make mistakes. I've got my first 3 petals. I'm going to now do my second set of 3 petals. These are going to be slightly smaller, so when you're picking up your bead of acrylic, make sure that you have reduced the amount of time in your monomer and your polymer so that each of these petals ends up being a percentage smaller. Not so much smaller where they look out of place like they shouldn't belong to the same flower, but just enough smaller that they kind of go up in with the flower. I think you'll see what I mean. So we've got 1 and 2. Now I'm going to finish number 3, and that's all we're making for petals. Now we can start attaching them. Of the smaller petals, grab whichever one you want to use first and attach it to the area on the nail where you want your flower to be. If you want to attach this flower after it's made, you can do this whole kind of like assembly process on a nail form backing and then attach it afterwards. But we're going to put that first one down, let it harden in place. I am using clear acrylic to attach it. The reason I'm not trying to use nail glue is there's just this very small point on the end of the petal that I'm attaching, and there really wouldn't be enough to glue. Sometimes I do like to try to use nail glue to help me out in these circumstances, but I'm just really not feeling the nail glue for this. Clear acrylic definitely seems to be the way. This is going to end up being a lot bulkier than what I would like it to be in the center, which works out just fine. That petal, in fact, I'm going to snip a little bit off of before I attach it down because it was not going to sit properly. That is not an issue, by the way, if you ever want to just like cut a little bit off of one of them, because they should be sculpted thin enough where they won't crack by using a nice sharp pair of manicure scissors. So let all of those petals harden, hold them up. You can prop them up with your fingertips as you are waiting. But then you're also going to want to fill in underneath them with some clear acrylic to really secure them, especially if you're going to need to file out in the center. So now grabbing one of the larger petals, I'm going to hold it up just to see how it sets, and I realize that yes, I do need to take my e-file and an under the nail cleaner bit and just clear out a little section in the very center of the flower. This is going to give space for the points of the larger petals to go into the flower. So now grab each of those and you're going to position them with one of their points down in the center of that hole that we just created. Attach it with the smallest amount of acrylic that you possibly can, and then attach the next one. Same thing, you're going to want to put that in place with the most minimal amount of acrylic that you possibly can, because then you don't want to take up all the space for your next petals if you can help it. Attach that one, hold it in place. I love using my finger to help prop up designs like this and just give them kind of that stability until the acrylic sets. And now for the last one, you may be in my position where you're like, you know what, I'm going to need to make another hole. So after those have cured, go ahead and make another hole for your petal to sit in. After that hole has been created, dust it off a little bit. Add some more clear acrylic into that space, or white acrylic if you wanted to for this one, just to make sure that it doesn't show up as being quite so strange. But add the acrylic that you need to secure it. Again, just enough of the acrylic that you need to secure it. And then you're going to need to fill in the backside with some more of the acrylic so it doesn't move or go anywhere or break off super easily. Once all of your petals are attached, I'm going to use some bright colors of acrylic to add more of that lily coloration, but there are so many varieties that you can really, have some fun picking whichever one is your favorite. I'm going to take a very bright raspberry type pink, and I'm going to add that down the center of each petal, leaving a white border around the edges, kind of fading it out with the tip of my brush. This particular color of pink that I have is one that is kind of a jelly type of a color of acrylic. It's not a very creamy base. It's one that, it's really intense color, but you can blend it out really softly, which lends itself to this particular design perfectly. It just really behaves in just the right way. And then I'm going to take a red glitter acrylic with a clear base, and I'm going to be using that to add the polka dots to my petals. This one is just perfect for this because it doesn't have any color in the background. So wherever those glitters are, that's the only place where you can see them. And so now I'm going to take a piece of long, thin jewelry wire, and I'm going to be painting it with neon yellow gel paint. The great thing with gel paint is that it does not have to have a top coat on it. So after it's painted and cured, then you can start bending and cutting it into the stamens. So bend like a little L shape on the top of each piece of wire and then cut it off. Now I'm going to put some jewelry gel into the hole that remains in the center of my flower and stand up all of these little stamens into that hole. Press them in. Hopefully they will just kind of hold themselves up with the help of the jewelry gel. You can manipulate them for a moment, and then after they are cured, then you can go ahead and add the orange on the ends of them. Same thing if I'm using a jewelry gel, then I know, or a gel paint, then I know that I don't have to worry about applying top coat. And now I'm going to fill in around my flower with jewelry gel. And after I have a nice good layer of that, I'm going to be applying some gel top coat over the top of the jewelry gel that is uncured. So we have 2 layers of product, jewelry gel, then top coat. Both have not been cured yet, and I'm going to press in some crystals. I want this to be over the top and glamorous and tropical, like you're planning for some kind of fancy vacation. So we've got all of these tropical colors going on here. And then I feel like just the glamour element, the oversized flower, really lends itself to a crystal cluster surrounding it. I feel like a bird of paradise would also go really well with this type of over-the-top glam flower vibe. After all of those crystals have been placed, I'm going to make sure that none of them have moved. Every once in a while with jewelry gel, they do like to slide around, but then cure, and that's it. The flower doesn't need to have any top coat because there wasn't any paint. It was just all the color was done with acrylic. So that one is just done. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making this ginormous flower, and I will see you all next time. Bye.